The ArcGIS Viewer for Flex is a configurable web mapping application, but because the source code is also available, it can also be extended. This is a custom widget that I created derived from one of the samples available on the ArcGIS Resource Center. Just like the sample, my widget can calculate the viewshed of a particular location on the map. It's calling my own geoprocessing task and then displays the results, but within the ArcGIS Viewer for Flex. Today I'm going to demonstrate how you can get started building your first custom widget. The first step is to install Flash Builder. This can be run in standalone mode or as a plugin inside Eclipse. The next step is to install the debug version of Flash Player. This can run as an ActiveX control inside Internet Explorer or as a plugin inside Firefox. Finally, we need to download the source code for the viewer. This can be accessed from the ArcGIS Resource Center, Web Apps, or directly at www.esri.com/flexviewer. On the right, you'll see an option to download the source code for the viewer. This will take us to ArcGIS Online, where I can download the code. Once I download the code and unzip it, I can import it as a project inside Flash Builder. I go to File, Import Flex Project, select the folder where I've downloaded the source code, and click Finish. This is importing all of the source files that I need to be able to run the viewer. I'm going to go ahead and run the viewer to see what it looks like by default. It should look exactly like the customizable viewer that we saw before, but now I've accessed all of the source code. Here we see we have a folder called Source. Under here we have all of the source code and all of the widget source code under the widgets package. There's a package called Samples which contains a widget, Hello World. This is a great place to get started for your first custom widget. I'm going to copy the Hello World widget and paste it under the Samples package. I could give it my own name and also the files underneath that new package. Let's have a look at our new widget. It extends Base Widget. Base Widget gives me access to a lot of different things to allow me to connect into the viewer. One of those things is the widget configuration file. This is where I can put properties to configure my widget at runtime. In this case, it's just reading in a string to set up the label. It's also using a widget template. This is what gives it that common look and feel to have the same appearance as the other widgets. And then I can put my own UI elements inside the template. Widgets are designed to be added to the viewer as modules. This is done so that they can be loaded dynamically at runtime. In order to compile my new widget, I have to add it to the project as a module. Go to Properties, and then Modules. Here we'll find all of the widgets that come with the viewer. I'll add my module, and now it will be compiled with the rest of the project. In order for my widget to show up in the viewer, I have to add it to the configuration file. To do this, I can just copy the entry for another widget and change the name to point to my own widget. It's inside the My Widget package, and we name the widget My Widget. Now I'm going to try running the viewer to make sure that my new widget shows up in the viewer interface. On the menu controller, here on the right, I can see my new widget. At the moment, it just has that simple label that says Hello World, which it read from the config file. Now we'll add code to show the coordinates when the user clicks on the map. To do this, we need to add event listeners for the mouse clicks. This can be done when the widget opens. The base widget class will give us access to the map instance. Now all we need to do is change the label text when that event is fired. The map point is passed through the event object. It's important to remember to remove the event listener. We'll do that when the widget's closed. And now let's test our changes to make sure it worked. Now as I click on the map, I can see my coordinates being updated in the widget. In the code gallery, you can search for custom widgets and viewer applications that other users have shared. For example, here's the viewshed widget that I demonstrated at the beginning of this presentation. You can download the entire package, which includes source code and the configurable files. As we've seen today, you can get started pretty quickly adding custom functionality to the ArcGIS Viewer for Flex. For more information, go to the ArcGIS Viewer for Flex Resource Center or the help content on getting started for developers.